Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this week's Central Arkansas Basketball Report. I'm your host, Steve Owens. This week, the Bears and Sugar Bears went on the road to take on a pair of conference opponents in Sam Houston State and Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. Both teams lost on the road at Sam Houston State before rebounding and sweeping the Islanders and Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. We'll be back right after this with head coach for the UCA Bears, Corliss Williamson, on the Central Arkansas Basketball Report.
This is the Central Arkansas Basketball Report, sponsored by Conway Chamber of Commerce, A&T, All Clean Restoration Services, Train Automotive, A&T, The Real Yellow Pages, Sonic Drive-In, Log Cabin Democrat, and Zaxby's.
If you're coming to Conway for football, get ready to put your game face on. For shopping, dining, accommodations, and more, come for football. Stay to play. Learn more at conwayarkansas.org.
The smoked chipotle burrito is really good.
Yeah, my zesty cheesesteak burrito's great.
Are you familiar, Pete, with the phrase, don't mess with success?
Yeah.
Because this is not only messing with success, this is taking success to the cliff and shoving success over.
Success said, oh, please, don't do anything. Leave me alone.
These burritos didn't even hear that. They heard, oh, put, and that was it. It was just like, wah. Egg everywhere.
Wake up to sirloin steak and fluffy eggs with the new zesty cheesesteak and smoked chipotle breakfast burritos. This is how you Sonic.
Back on this week's show, and joining me is head coach Corliss Williamson of the UCA Bears. And well, what a long road trip your team had to go out on this week. Now, you've played a couple of non-conference games farther away than Corpus Christi when you played Arizona State, but as far as a condensed time, talk about how difficult a preparation and kind of making sure your guys have enough energy on a road trip like this, the same Houston State, and then on the back end of Corpus Christi.
Yeah, it was a long road trip, and we tried to make sure our guys got the proper rest. So we flew down into Houston, then had to make the about an hour and a half drive over to Huntsville. So you kind of worry about fatigue, especially at the end of the trip. But I thought our guys did a great job of getting their rest. We spaced out our times. We kind of had to be a little smart with practice, not go too hard, and kind of shorten them up. And I think our guys really responded. You
went into Sam Houston State, a team that's been pretty good over the last few years, but a balanced club. Talk about, as a coaching staff, how you was able to coach up your team and kind of talk about some of the things they need to do when they didn't really have one star, but really balance up and down the lineup.
Oh yeah, I mean Sam Houston, they're great defensively. I mean they're very physical in the half court. They body you up on your drive, so they make it difficult, especially with the way we run our offense, to get into the paint. And then on the offensive end of the court, it's hard to prepare for them because you don't have one or two guys who do the majority of the scoring. Everyone on that team contributes, and you never know who's going to have a big night. So you have to play everyone honest. You can't cheat off anyone, and they just do an excellent job of working that basketball with their pick and roll and create open shots for one another.
I know, to get a sense defensively, we saw SFA last week, and in many regards they're known as a defensive team, but I know you and your coaching staff kind of thought Sam Houston State might actually be a better defensive team going in.
Yes, they were. I mean, they were just very physical, and you look at them. They kept us off the glass that night, and I think they out-rebounded us by 10 rebounds. So, they do an excellent job. The guards are very strong, and it really made it difficult on our men to get into the rack.
Getting to the highlights, kind of the same script in the first half. Your team kind of stumbled out of the gates, but midway through the first half, you could see the energy level pick up and the pace picked up, and that's kind of when the ball game began in earnest.
Yes, it did. I thought our guys came out. I thought we competed well, at times in the first half. The pace of the game, it wasn't to our liking. It was more Sam Houston's pace. We're better when we get the ball in the open court, and we didn't get a lot of fast break points. We weren't able to push it in transition. A lot of that has to do with the way Sam Houston plays on the offensive end as well as defensively.
So you could tell every time they got the ball, they wanted to walk it up or at least kind of slow it down, other than opportunities for a pretty quick, fast break. Besides that, they wanted to control the tempo.
Yes, they did. They wanted to control the tempo. They didn't want us to get into the open court. Every now and then we get a chance, like there, Ryan Williams was able to get open off the penetration there. Dowda Barrette was able to knock down shots. But it was difficult for us to score all night long because they do a great job of getting back in transition.
And say your team had opportunities, but kind of like what so happened against a team like this, the shots just weren't falling. Even though we're seeing highlights of them falling, you ended up shooting 38% in the first half. Kind of hard to get an offensive rhythm that way.
It is. It's very hard to get an offensive rhythm shooting 38% in the first half. The second half didn't get any better. We shot 33, and we couldn't make any three-point shots. We shot 20% for the night, 3 of 15, and that made it difficult for us, because we're a team that averages about 8 made threes a game, and we were only able to muster up 3 shots.
I know that was one of the keys in this game. You went down by 7 points at the break. You got it close a couple of times after they pushed the lead up, but where your threes weren't falling, it seemed like the opposite happened on their home floor. They were hitting key threes when they needed them.
Oh, yes, they were. They were knocking down big shots when they needed to, especially in the first half. I thought we were playing good defense, but we had a few breakdowns, and they were able to get off three-point shots, which gave them that early lead in the game. And then in the second half, we cut it to, I believe, 6 points a couple of times, and came down the court trying to get an offensive set and couldn't get the play that we were trying to call. And it made it difficult on us to complete that comeback.
So one of the few times your team was able to get off the rebound and get off the run and end up converting on an easy two.
Yes, it was. We tried to pick up the pressure in the second half. Towards the end of the game kind of got to our pace where we wanted to play. That's when we were able to make a run. Throughout the course of the game, we said we wanted to push the tempo, and we didn't do it. And we saw when we were able to get up and get things going that we could get with Sam Houston and play a lot better than what we did in the first half.
So I know the score won't indicate the 63-52 score, but you forced 13 turnovers. That last segment of the game, when you finally got your defensive going, you were able to force turnovers and get some easy baskets and kind of see how you may want to play them at least on the return trip.
Yes. It definitely helped us out when we were able to get into the guards in the full court and pressure them. Our team is better that way. You get a chance to change the pace of the game. You get easy baskets when you get a steal, or you make them take a quick shot. So that's something that we took into consideration after that game, and something we're going to work on from here on out.
Unfortunately, you dropped that game again, like we mentioned. You dropped the 0-5 in league play, but you knew with such a short turnaround on Friday, getting on that bus, you had a chance to, if you keep your guys up, you had a winnable game on the back end at Corpus Christi. Yes.
We wanted to make sure our guys stay focused. Something we talked about. We wrote it on the board after the game, 0-5. Also wrote up, 1-5 up there, saying if we win this next game, we can get ourselves going with 4 more at home. So I thought our guys did an excellent job of putting this game behind them and getting ready for the next game.
As you went into Corpus and we start the highlights, a difficult start again. I'm sure some of that had to be some of these tired legs killing, kind of jumping on you a little bit. Kind of talk about the effort at the start of the game.
At the effort at the start of the game, we wanted to push the tempo. Our guys, I thought we did a good job of speeding the game up. We got Corpus tired there towards the end of the first half, but we couldn't take advantage of it. We didn't continue to push the ball on the other end of the court. We saw some things before going into halftime that if we continue to push the tempo, that we could change the pace of this game.
So you were able to change the pace of the game, and I know going down at halftime 34-24 may not sound like that, but you're able to kind of get them where you were wanting to get them in the second half, and you only shot 29% in the first half. They shot 50%, so you had to feel good that chances are those trends weren't going to continue in the second half, and you're at least able to get to a 10-point deficit at the break, but you kind of had momentum and going on your side.
Yes, we did. We had momentum on our side, and the one thing we sensed is that they were getting tired, especially in the first half when we continued to push the ball. We just didn't score the ball in the first half. We only had 24 points. I thought defensively we were able to push them and get the pace where we wanted, but I thought offensively we were taking quick shots and going one-on-one. Whereas in the second half, we were able to really work our offense and push it in transition, and guys started to create for others, as you see that pass there from Deshaun out to LaQuentin Miles.
And as we mentioned in the first game where the three-point shot was not falling, had no problem in the second half with them going down.
Yes, second half we were able to knock down shots. We moved the ball better. The spacing was better on the offensive end. You see that Rob came off of the pick and roll there and missed, and Anthony Borden cleaned it up. But I thought our guys just did an excellent job of moving the basketball and getting open shots.
So your team went 8 of 12 in the second half from behind the arc alone, 26 of 63 for the game, 41%. But you ended up out-rebounding them by 1. But you had 14 offensive rebounds a couple clips ago, 14 second-chance points. A lot of things went right in that second half.
It did. A lot of things went right for us. We knocked down shots. Linnell Brown made a big shot for us there, I think, to give us the lead for good. Robert Crawford knocked down a big shot. It's like we were able to answer their run. When they went on the other end and scored, we were able to come down and make key baskets and key moments. And I was just very proud of our guys sticking with it, fighting through. As you see there, Quentin Miles following up for another offensive rebound, and it was just a great night for us on the offensive board.
So you talk about that pace of the game. In the second half, it was all yours. 52 points your team scored in the second half.
Wow. This team is capable of having big offensive bursts like that. You see Robert Crawford knocking down a three-point shot. It's just a matter of us just coming out having the confidence. And Quentin Miles put the finishing touch on the game with the breakaway dunk.
Well, how exciting was it to finally get that first win?
It was exciting. We got back to the locker room. Everybody was still giddy and happy about what was going on. And it helped solidify their belief and their commitment to what we're trying to do. I know it was tough going 0-5 in the beginning, but to get that one win, that's really going to help our guys with the momentum of 4 games coming in.
Especially after that first half down by 10 points, to know that they stuck with it, and then when things started going their way, they just fed off that confidence and it all snowballed.
Right. You worry about that at halftime, then having the mentality of, here we go again. But our guys put it out of their mind. They came back that second half and fought through, and I was very proud of the effort.
So your record improves to 6-10. You're 1-5 in league play after your 76-67 win. Now you focus here at home for 2 weeks. First off, it's going to be great to be at home, but now you come back for 4 straight games starting Thursday night against McNeese State. 4 games, I know that your team's going to have to come out and play well, but you feel like you have a chance to maybe run the table here at home and get yourself back at 500.
That would be excellent. That would be a great 2 weeks for us to be able to win 4 games in a row at home. McNeese is going to be a tough game. They're always well prepared. They do a great job of defending and working the ball offensively, but we feel like at home we can take care of business.
And on the back end of that homestand, Lamar on Saturday.
Yes, and Lamar's been struggling this season as well. He lost, I think it was 5 seniors from last year, and it's been a tough year for Coach Knight and his team, but we can't worry about them and what they're doing. We have to come out and play Central Arkansas basketball and find a way to win.
Well, it's good to get your first conference win of the season. Let's hope we can keep it up this week and have 2 wins to talk about next week.
Sounds great.
That's Coach Corliss Williamson. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll have Coach Sandra Russing with the UCA Sugar Bears right after this.
At Zaxby's, all of our salads are made fresh to satisfy any craving. Like the blue, with a bold taste of real blue cheese and buffaloed or blackened chicken. The house, or the Caesar. With so many flavor-packed choices, you'll be seeing salad in a whole new way. Guess someone forgot to tell us that salads are supposed to be boring. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
I'm Jay Myers with Crane Buick GMC, the GM Giant right here in Conway. We're proud to support the UCA Bears. Come let us show you that we're the best place in the state of Arkansas to buy your next vehicle. Best selection, best service, and best prices. Come see our full-service dealership. Bring your UCA ticket stub and get an extra $500 off or 10% off any service visit. The GM Giant loves Conway and the UCA Bears. Crane Buick GMC, 1003 North Museum Road. Go Bears!
CraneTeam.com.
Welcome back to this week's show, and joining me is head coach Sandra Rushing of the UCA Sugar Bears, and we've talked about it in the opening a little bit. Such a long road trip, the longest road trip we've taken all year. You've talked about how a lot of your players are having to play a lot of minutes, but talk about the wear and tear that a road trip like this has on your players.
Well, it was a long road trip, but, a lot of teams have to make that, and we've got to be able to, withstand that. And, of course, Steve, we wanted to come back and be 2-0 on the road, but, we were fortunate enough to get a sweep and, a split. And that, anytime you travel that distance and come back with a split, that's I'll take it.
All in all, you've played 4 conference road games so far this year, and you're 3-1 on the road. So, looking at the big picture, you got to be pretty pleased with that. We can kind of talk about winning all your home games and maybe winning half your games on the road. So, to get off on a 3-1 start, pretty good, don't you think?
Oh, I agree. And you want your seniors to step up and play like seniors, and they've been on the road before and they know how to handle it. And I'm able to use my bench a little bit more, and I think that's helping.
We went to Sam Houston State in Huntsville, Texas on Thursday night. Probably one of the best teams in the league up there with us and a couple others. And so you knew the challenge going in.
Yeah, Sam Houston, very good, very, very good team. They do some things that, I knew was our weakness, a lot of on-ball screens, and they can shoot it. Going in, we wanted to contain number 10, but I think she ended up having 18 points, but I think she was 8 for 8 from the free throw line, and then number 30, I think she ended up having 14 boards, and you can't do that when you're playing a great team.
And so you knew going in, they were one of the few teams in the league that can match up with Doover and Herbert down low with Sequina Thomas. She's one of the best rebounders also in the league besides Megan. And you talked about Brittany Martin, where she had 18 points, a lot of them coming at the free throw line. One of the few teams that could really match up and have 2 stars across the floor like we do.
Oh, I agree. You know, and one of the things that we really need to improve on as a team is blocking out. We can't give up second and third shots because that will cost you a ball game.
And as we'll see as we go to the highlights, that will cost us, especially in the second half. Got off on the first half. The first segment of the game, I thought the team had a lot of energy, came out pretty good, but you could kind of tell midway through the first half, maybe some of those legs caught up with them.
Yeah, but again, I keep going back. We've got to overcome that and know tournament time, everybody's going to be tired. We look at that, I mean, we've just got to be able to, that was Courtney right there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I felt like when we attacked the basket, we were very good. And at some points during the game, we did not attack the basket. Nice turnaround jumper by Courtney, just didn't go in. I mean,
I say we were trying to talk about this off camera. Didn't have one of our better nights shooting the ball.
No. And again, like I said, I don't know, you know, it's the travel, but we have to get over that. And, you know, I thought we stood and watched a lot and maybe in shell shock a little bit how good they were. But, you know, there's Ray. We want to post Ray. And she's still fighting it.
I know in the first half, defensively, they shot 48% from the field. They led 35-23 at the break. A lot of that came late in the half, but there's a steal and a layup. You forced 16 turnovers. Defensively, your team was able to do some things well throughout the game.
Yeah, I thought in spurts, but, you know, you've got to put a complete defensive game together. Great move there by Megan.
One of the things I was wanting to talk about defenses, which all know turnover. You asked Brittany Gowans to do something different, and basically go wherever Brittany Martin, number 10, was all over the floor. And I thought, you talked about how she got off on the free throw line, but she went 4 of 15 from the field. She didn't have a good shooting day.
I thought BG did a tremendous job on her. All those points that she got was not BG's fault. I mean, we rotated some people, and you're right, she got a lot of points from the free throw line. And, you know, BG can play some defense, and I'm really happy with that. Other people are going to have to step up too.
There's another turnover. It leads to another basket, and again, down 35-23 at the break. But you come out and go on an 8-0 run to start the second half as Megan Herbert takes over.
Yeah, and, you know, we came out with a little bit more energy second half, and like I said, went on that run. It was a nice shot right there. But I just see us standing a lot offensively, and you can't. Well, I wanted really to try to push the ball a little bit more.
We talked about the 8-0 run, and for whatever reason, your team on 3 different occasions in the second half trimmed that 13-point lead down to 5. But when shots wouldn't fall, you just couldn't get over that hump.
We couldn't, and, you know, that's frustrating, you know, for the players because they were trying really hard. I mean, we knew what they were going to do, and sometimes it happens like that, and you hate it. And I asked them, I said, what do you think happened? They said, we just had a bad game, and you know, if you're going to have a bad game, have it in January.
And so your defense played much better. You, like I said, forced them into 16 turnovers for the game. The effort in the second half, you could tell there was a different attitude and a different effort level.
And it's been the same thing all year, Steve. When we talk about you have to put 40 minutes together. Whether it's a great first half and then we come out a little sluggish second half, it's a 40-minute ball game. And once we do that, we will be very hard to beat.
But Sam Houston, equally as tough to beat. Down the stretch, they were hitting free throws, and I know that kills any type of comeback too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think how many free throws did they shoot?
They went 13 of 16 for the game.
13 for 16. And I think we only shot 8.
8 the whole game.
Yeah, the whole game. Okay.
And Megan Herbert, which you won't hear this too many times, especially out of my voice, for some reason didn't get to the free throw line at all that night. And they were letting them play down low.
Right. And she was getting beat up, you know, pushed around. I mean, she holds her ground, don't get me wrong, but I just thought that she really had to take a lot of hits, and you know, but she's a tough player. At
the end of the game, your team falls 64-48. First conference loss of the year, puts you in a 4-way tie at that point with Sam Houston State and Lamar and Oral Roberts, who ended up getting beat earlier or later on in the week. But you got out of Sam Houston State, and then no time to really think about it because we had that long, about 5.5, 6-hour bus ride down to Texas A&M-Corpus Christi on Friday afternoon.
That was a quick turnaround. Quick that we had, and we played Saturday at noon. You know, and we didn't have a lot of time to prepare for Corpus, but went in. I thought when we started the game, we came out sluggish, and I was able to sub and get a little momentum going, and I subbed a lot that ball game.
I say really it was almost your worst case scenario, what we didn't want to see, because you were worried about the road trip. You weren't going to have very much practice time, so it's going to be more of a mental preparation and film work. And out of the gates, as we start this game going up against Corpus Christi, who hadn't won in conference play yet, it was kind of one of those deals where it all came together for the bad side.
Well, yeah, and they have a lot of athletic ability on that team, and they're going to win again. I mean, they're going to win a couple conference games. I just didn't want it to be against us.
And they came out of the gate strong. They played well against Oral Roberts on Thursday night, so they had a little confidence despite the loss.
Right, and they're playing well. Coach Chadwick does a great job, and he's going to have that program turned around. And like I said, and the thing with Corpus, they never quit. I mean, they're constantly, chasing. They get to the ball quick. Right there was a turnover.
And say that they were also, looked like throughout the game, changing defenses on you and trying to make our players kind of respond and react to what they were doing.
Right, and I thought Ty went in as a nice move right there by Courtney. I thought Ty went in and she took 3 charges. She was really good on the defensive end.
And you mentioned you subbed early before even the first media timeout, as you see Megan get a steal, the Sugar Bears run the break the other way and get the layup.
Coast to coast right there.
We've seen that before, haven't we?
Yes.
But you talked about subbing. You subbed all 5 players immediately to start the game to try to get it, try to get a different energy level and also kind of wake your starters up.
Well, yeah, because I think that, when you have seniors and you're playing a team like Corpus who has won a ball game, and you can always take them lightly, possibly, and so if we were that, I felt like if we were that sluggish and that tired, let me put some new legs in, and we went in, and I was really happy with that group's defensive effort.
Say we went to the locker room behind 23-22, but much like we did at Sam Houston State, you come firing out of the gates and on a 10-0 run to really put the game away early in the second half.
Right, and you can't play around with people, or anything can happen on the road, and I don't think we played our best basketball this road trip in either game, but we came home with the win, and then we've got a tough week ahead of us coming up.
We went on the 10-0 run. We were being out-rebounded in the first half as well. You end up hitting the boards for 18 offensive rebounds. You out-rebounded by 7 for the game. But what was the Achilles heel in the first game? Free throw shooting was really strong in the second half of this game. You finished 16 of 18 for the game, went 14 of 16 down the stretch to really ice this game away.
Well, yeah, and you've got to hit your free throws, especially on the road, and you hope you get the opportunity to shoot more than just 8 in a ball game. I thought we did a better job of, like I said, trying to attack the basket instead of standing and watching second half.
And I thought defensively as well, you end up forcing 19 turnovers. All of those came in the second half. You could see a different team on the court the second half.
And I'll say this I've said it before, this team really does not know how good they can be. And, we've got every area covered. They just got to realize that, and we got to put 40 minutes together. So great pass right there.
So as you watch these highlights, you see a lot of emphasis going down to the post, and the finish from Megan Herbert from Courtney Doover. Megan had 19 points, 11 rebounds, another double-double. Courtney 11 points, 12 rebounds, another double-double. It really starts with those two, doesn't it?
It does. And see, I think you've got to go inside out. I think you have to, because you're not going to shoot the ball great every night, and then the guards need to know and realize when to penetrate and then when to pull up and shoot the 3. I think our shot selections, we need to really realize that, and let's go inside. If they're doubling, let's get it out, and then you can take a shot. You don't want to shoot a tired shot, especially when you're on the road, because if you're not hitting, you got to go to the other end and you got to play defense.
Sam Houston had a decent atmosphere. Talk about what it is like too, playing in a place like the America Bank Center, where a big cavernous place, much like kind of Verizon Arena, but the place was dead, and you kind of feared your players' energy level. Do you think that plays into it a little bit too?
It may, yeah, but I'm going to stand on, when I say this, we've got the best fans in the country, and it is a great atmosphere to play here in our gym, and I love our fans, and I love the just like I said, the atmosphere that they bring, and that they bring a lot of energy. And if that's what it takes, I'll take a picture and put it up, in the place, just so we can have energy on the road.
Well, the good news is you came away from Corpus Christi with a 55-40 win. You improved to 12-5 overall in the season, 5-1 in league play, a 3-way tie atop first place. And you talk about these fans that you just talked about, and we're going to need them this week as we come home for a pair of big games.
Big week. McNeese first, and then Lamar, and we definitely need the crowd here, and I had the chance to watch last year's game against McNeese, and the crowd was into it, and the crowd really does not realize how, the advantage that it gives us.
You've already seen them on film at least.
Yes.
You know what you're getting into. They've been maybe the top team in the league beside us. It's definitely one of the matchups everyone looks forward to around here against McNeese State, led by their two Baggett twins. They've won back-to-back conference tournament titles and a regular season title. Kind of talk about this matchup that we'll see Thursday night at the Fair Center.
Well, I think it's going to be a great ball game. I think, I know we'll be up for that game. Who wouldn't? Seniors, you've been playing each other for, 4 years. I mean, you got to lay it all out and leave it on the floor, and let's play 40 minutes.
And then you get past Thursday night, win or lose, you have Lamar in the back end, who are also right now, as we go into this week, tied at the top of the Southland Conference.
It doesn't get any easier. I mean, and I know I've known Larry Tidwell for years, and you talk about some tremendous athletes, and they're going to come in and they're going to press us, and they're going to get up and down the floor, and we're going to have to do little things to win both these ball games.
So they have another superstar as well, Khalees Lloyd. We've seen her now for 3 years.
Yes, and she is a tremendous player, and we're going to have to contain her, keep her off the boards, and limit her shots.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us this week. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week on the show.
Thank you.
As Coach Sandra Russing of the UCA Sugar Bears. Don't forget you have 2 chances this week to come to the Fair Center, root on the Bears and the Sugar Bears, beginning Thursday night at 5:30. The Sugar Bears take on McNeese State, and then Saturday afternoon, the Sugar Bears take on Lamar at 2 o'clock. So for Coach Rushing and Coach Williamson, my name's Steve Owens, and join us next week on the Central Arkansas Basketball Report.
Flooding happens. When it does, call All Clean Restoration, Arkansas's solution to disaster restoration, flooding, fire and smoke, tornado, and more. We are Arkansas's #1 restoration company, able to reverse the damage of any disaster, large or small, and get your home or business back to the way it should be.
Tell your insurance company you prefer All Clean Restoration.
All Clean Restoration, proudly serving all of Arkansas.
Real Yellow Pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your mobile. More ways to search, more ways to find. Only from AT&T.